you got to be careful that all of these are set so you don't face with, unfortunately, bankruptcy or going out of business. Recession. Very scary, right? We heard about inflation a lot. Now suddenly we have recession. What the hell is going on? So today we're going to discuss inflation, recession. What's the possibility of recession? Are we in one? And what you can do as a small business owner to curb that, to survive, and to make sure you're on the growth path that you always wanted. Again, we discussed economic landscapes and how it went. It's mostly from a real estate lens. You can watch the video right here. It discussed some of the monetary policies that the Fed did, some of the stuff that happened that led to the economy being the way it is. So we're at Q3 of 2022. So we're going to discuss current events, what you can do as a small business owner to make sure your business is protected, because this is very uncertain times. And again, consumer spending is in a very healthy way still, but now with 2 consecutive negative GDP numbers, that fear is real. And your business might see decrease in revenue that can be very catastrophic. You see, a lot of small businesses barely survived after COVID, and they are still surviving and navigating through these inflationary times, which we discussed the ways that you can limit the effects of it on your business. But now there's a new problem. The issue is, well, we raised our prices, we adjusted everything. What if there's a recession? Oh my God, not many people come into my restaurant. Not many people come into my business. What am I gonna do? It's very scary. It's a really scary outlook, and a lot of small business owners are in fear. Well, don't be in fear. Never. There's always a solution to things. And today, here are some practical ways you can help your business navigate through these uncertain times and survive. Remember, it's your business. You put a lot of time into it, your hard-earned money, a lot of sacrifices. It would be a shame if your small business is affected by these economic turbulences or uncertainties. So follow these guidelines, and I'll promise you, you'll see good results. And this video might be a little bit longer because we're actually going in depth in these ways. I want to offer practical ways for your business to make sure that your income statement and balance sheet is healthy. So this won't be like a 1, 2, 3 list or top 10 list your business can survive and we'll explain for 5 seconds and move on. I want to discuss it on a philosophical level so you'll be more comfortable with them. Well, we always heard the phrase cash is king, but recently there's a lot of content that tells us cash is not king. Why? Because there is an inflation. 8.5%, used to be 9.1% for the month of June. It's very scary. A lot of folks who are giving a lot of personal finance advice, they say, well, don't hold any cash. Put it in investments, put it in stocks, put it in crypto, put it in real estate. And if you are not making more than 8.5%, 9% per month, you're losing money. And that prompted a lot of folks to look at their savings, to look at their cash reserve and put it into these investment vehicles. Again, I'm not in personal finance. I don't know what's going on over there, but this is about small businesses. This is about enterprise finance or corporate finance. For your small business, it's not the same. The bad news is that unlike personal finance, where you can always have your excess cash in an investment vehicle or you choose to do so, your business is an active organism in a way. What I mean is you're always going to operate your business, offer your products or services to the public. So you'll always have expenses. And a lot of small businesses have a long list of fixed costs plus variable costs. That's your cost structure. So you can't afford not to pay those bills. When the rent comes due, when the gas bill comes due, when your payroll comes due, when the payroll taxes come due, you got to pay them. So what do? You hold on to cash? Well, you can actually. The rule of thumb is have some amount of cash in your bank account. There are different recommendations. There's this general guideline of 20% of your monthly revenue. You can save up more now that you feel like there might be times of uncertainty, but it's always good to have. There's some benefits to that. Number one, keeps your cash flow healthy, making sure that when there is a drop in revenue, you still have cash to pay your expenses. You don't have to worry about going out of business or bankruptcy, because usually cash flow deficits and liquidity issues is one of the leading causes of businesses closing. Number two is when it comes to potential investors, partners, or even lenders, if you want to get small business loans for something, your books look better. Again, lenders use different metrics. One of them is working capital ratio, which heavily relies on your current asset and current liabilities. So if you have a lot of cash in the bank, current assets look much better, so you'll pay less fees and you'll be a more attractive and less riskier candidate. And number three is that during recessionary times, sometimes there are more opportunities in different areas. So if you have a small business and you suddenly realize there's a good opportunity in one sector and you want to expand, suddenly you have some cash that you can work to pay towards that capital expenditure. Again, small business loans are always the choice for you, but those can be very expensive, or you might have a different philosophy. So having that cash helps you a lot. Number two, which we discussed, is update your pricing according to your costs. Inflation means suppliers are raising their price. So what do you have to do? Well, as a small business owner, we're very close with our communities. We love our customers. We don't want to raise prices because that'll be bad for them as well. They have to pay more, but you'll go out of business, because if you are in a deficit, that means that your cost of everything goes up. Cost of suppliers, payroll, cost of labor went up, and then you keep your prices the same, you're going to be at a deficit. And it's just a matter of time until you see that it's just not worth it. So to curb that, you want to look at something called cost of goods sold, which is a core cost associated with you offering your product or service. And if it sounds familiar, we discussed it before in the income statement video. You can watch it here again. Cost of goods sold is very important. And if you see that your cost of goods sold went up year to year, month to month, because you paid your suppliers more, you paid for labor more, and core cost of your product or service went up, well, it's time to increase the price of whatever you're offering accordingly as well. Because the rule of thumb is, and we discussed that before, if you're losing money per unit, you're losing money, period. So even if there might be a situation where there's some customers that are upset and then don't come to your business again, don't eat at your restaurant, don't buy your product, but you still have healthy margins per product, that's more manageable than if you have the same or more customers, but you're losing money or you're breaking even. That's not good. So be mindful of that. A lot of customers might not like it. You might think customers might not like it, but it's very understandable. You're not doing this to be greedy. Your business is in trouble if you don't do that. So if your supplier has enough nerves to raise their prices, you should do too. And last but not least, cost optimization. I know that when it comes to recession, there's a term called cost cutting, which is very obsolete. Now we're discussing cost optimization, meaning without sacrificing your quality, your business continuity, or letting go of your talent, you want to optimize your costs to make sure that they're more flexible or lower to help you in case there's a drop in revenue. But you might ask, Pouria, it sounds pretty fancy, and I heard that a lot, but how do I do it? What are the best practices? Well, fear not. Here are some examples of cost optimization you can do for your business without sacrificing quality or business continuity. Number one, and the most important and the easiest, is renegotiating with your current suppliers, vendors, and if needs be, thinking about switching. There are different vendors and suppliers that are always competing, and some of them compete on price, compete on customer service, or innovation. What happens is during recessionary times, or if your business sees a permanent decrease in the revenue, sometimes you have to go to your supplier and say, hey, the price is just too much for us. Can we renegotiate? Can we have a lower price? Sometimes that works, and you see that your prices associated with that product is lower considerably. If not, that's still fine. You can find other vendors who may provide you the same supplies or services at a lower price. This same thing happens when you renegotiate with your cable provider or call up to threaten to cancel your AT&T or T-Mobile. That's what you do. You renegotiate it with them, and if they don't match your price, you go to someone else. Same thing happens with car insurance too. Second one is reducing overhead and increase efficiency of your business. And that's very difficult discussion because you have to have an objective look at it. What areas of your business are waste? What areas of your business are overhead costs that you don't necessarily need? Can you preserve quality with spending less money on certain things? This is where buy versus make becomes a very big conversation, because you are looking at if you're making a product or if you're making a component of your product or service and say, hey, does it worth it for me to make it in-house and incur all that cost? Or is it better for me to just go and outsource it? This happens with data and computing power. When it comes to some of the businesses like law firms, any type of service business, they might think of, does it worth for me to have on-prem solution like servers, networking, everything on premises, or is it easier for me to outsource that to a public cloud provider? Well, cloud can be a really good solution for this, because what you do is, with maintaining all that infrastructure, there's a lot of overhead costs and a high capital expenditure. When you decide to outsource that to a public cloud provider, all of that is gone. All you have to do is negotiate a really good price for them, and there's a lot of flexible pricing scheme there, so you're in good hands. So you achieve number one and number two together. So look at your business, look at some of the areas that you can either make them more efficient, or if it makes sense, outsource them. Third one, which is depends on your business and I don't always recommend it, is adjusting your operating hours, adjusting your business hours. Usually you see with restaurants, they adjusted their business hours. If you're looking at your data, and that is how many customers you have, how many inquiries you have per hour, and look at times that there's no or very low revenue times, maybe it's a good time to not operate during those times. This happens a lot with restaurants or service providers when they say, well, in these hours, we don't have a lot of inquiries, we don't have a lot of customers. Why do we have to pay to keep the business open? We can close early or we can open later, and during these high revenue hours, we'll maximize the revenue, reduce costs. But again, word of caution, that could really hurt your business continuity if you don't have the right data. Don't assume based on how you feel. You have to actually do some data collection from saying, hey, on these hours, there's this many customers coming, this many inquiries, this much conversion, and then compare hour to hour to see at what time frames you have the lowest conversion rate, lowest walk-ins or inquiries, or lowest purchases. Another one is lowering discretionary spendings. If you're doing pizza parties, if for your restaurants you're doing a lot of lavish marketing, you're doing a lot of things that are just fun to do and it helps your business in a way, but it's mostly that it creates an environment, or if you have costs that you feel like is not core to you making revenue, you might want to take another look at them. Again, I'm not suggesting cutting them, but evaluate them, scrutinize them a little bit more. Or if you feel like this expense, this just doesn't need to be there, we don't have to spend that money, reduce that cost. That helps you down the line. And last one that is very well advised in the supply chain business is you can always maintain a lower inventory. And again, you have to do the right data. You have to understand your operation enough to not let that hurt your continuity, which means if you have a restaurant, you might want to keep a lower inventory of everything. If you have a manufacturing or service business, you want to make sure you only have enough for your business continuity and don't overbuy supplies. This is tough because you have to have a really good data about your usage, about your customer levels. And again, during recessionary times, the assumption is that your inquiry levels, your customer servicing levels, everything goes down. So it makes sense that you want to adjust your inventory levels to that lower level as well. So if you're buying X amount of inventory and you have X amount of customers, if the customer levels go X minus 10, your inventory should be X minus 10 too. But again, word of caution, look at your data, look at your customers, always have a good quantitative understanding of your revenue levels and adjust your inventory based on that. But cost optimization is really stressful. It's rarely fun. It's terrible because businesses don't want to optimize their cost because that means that their revenue levels are low and usually all their aspiration and growth is stopped. Revenue is less customers are coming in. So it's a very stressful time mentally as well. A lot of small business owners start overthinking about it and they feel that, oh, is my product bad? Is my business bad? Is there something I need to do? But the reality is that spendings across the board are down. So when it comes to cost optimization, there's a lot of stress involved with that. So just make sure you do it methodically. You use these advice that I give you. You have an objective look at your books and always, as always, work with a really good CPA. Love you all to navigate you through some of the legal, taxation, and financial aspects of your business. When in doubt, ask a CPA. If I want to leave you with anything on cost optimization is always when choosing a method to optimize your cost, you want to follow the rule of impacts. What does that mean? For your cost optimization initiative, you want to choose the initiative with the highest impact on your cost, lowest impact on your operations. There are times that you have cost optimization models, which is medium to high impact on your cost, but is also high impact on your business. For example, layoffs. Layoffs are very popular these days again. Unfortunately, again, despite a lot of best practices and really good analysts and minds telling these businesses not to do it because retaining talent is tough, businesses still do it. And that's an easy go-to because it's a very classic traditional, but it's very high impact to your operation. So things like negotiating with your vendors, changing vendors, decreasing overhead costs, these are high impact to your cost, but low impact to your operation. You want to, when you get out of all of this, your business to be more or less the same because at some point after the bust cycle, there's a boom cycle. And are you ready for that? Or are you going to overspend on retaining new talent, suddenly increase some of your budgeting for some of the vital aspects of your business that you slashed? Then you won't be successful, or you won't be there to reap the benefits of that good economy. So be smart, choose cost optimization methods that are high impact to your expense, low impact to your operation. And I'll promise you, you'll get through this and you'll be successful business. Thank you so much for watching. This is such an important topic to me as a business owner myself, and in my work in small business lending. I work with a lot of small business owners and I really want to help them. Small business are the backbone of our economy and are often ignored. So when it comes to now with inflationary times, now with the fear of recession, they're under tremendous amount of stress and pressure. So if I can do anything to help, that'll be an honor. But as always, if you want to know more about two of my favorite financial statements that I try to explain in the simplest way that I can, income statement, you can watch it here. We went through it very deep. You'll be very well versed in income statement when you get out of this video. And balance sheet, I tried to rework it as a how to scale your business. So there's a lot of practical information there as well. Watch it and let me know what you think. But if you watched this far into the video, thank you so much. It means a lot to me. Hope I provided something of value. If you have any feedback, please comment down below. And there is a really good playlist that is practical advice for finance. If you have time, you can watch it. You can have it on the background when you play a video game or something. But as always, I wish you prosperity and keep learning.